What is going on, everyone, and welcome into another episode of Expected Bets for your go-to podcast for all things hockey betting. I am Gator Betting, joined by one of my co-hosts today, Franco the Banker. We apologize for the delay today. I guess they just decided to add a little bit of traffic onto your commute today, Franco, huh?
Yeah, I don't live in a very heavily congested area, so like I'm pretty predictable. Half-hour drive home from work every day. I left 10 minutes early. I was all excited, like I can prep before, and they just decided to close the road that one main road that everybody takes. So we were all just effed trying to figure out a way to get around it. So that was super fun. I loved every second of it. But yeah, we're here to break down this garbage slate tonight of 2 games on a Wednesday. So beautiful.
We're going to try to spin this as a positive angle because there's 2 games tonight, but I don't know about you, like myself, I haven't filled out my bracket yet. I haven't even come
Fair.
close to doing
Fair.
that. So this is like we put in our bets now. We watch the 2
Yeah.
games in the background, but we also can fill out brackets while we do so, So
And research tomorrow too. I
and
mean,
research
like that.
tomorrow too. I
Yeah.
mean, what? 15 game slate tomorrow? 13?
It's,
14.
it's a big
I
one.
had it. I had it 14. So I looked it up. I was 13 and I was 15, got it at 14. Yeah. Also, if anyone okay. If anyone has any college basketball bets for tomorrow, please drop them in the chat. I will definitely tell a few.
Yeah, give me
Be
some free
working,
money.
but yeah. So be sure to drop some NCAA college picks tomorrow. But yeah, 2 games tonight. Not the worst. Colorado Toronto should be a great matchup. I'm looking
Yeah, it should
forward
be
to
a fun
that
game.
one.
Yeah.
Seattle, Minnesota is a nightcap. Not so much. Not necessarily planning on spending too much time on that game. But before we do that, we do have some news. I know we teased the new show that we're doing. It will be officially live tomorrow. So our first episode will be tomorrow, should be out. If I had to guess, maybe around 6. It's a quick 10-minute video. So be sure to check that out if you guys can. And then as well as we will have our first picks live on the Tails Insider tomorrow. I will post the link in a tweet as well, but the link's right there. You can use code PUCKS for 50% off. So in total, it's going to be $10 for a month. Feel free to provide any feedback you guys want, whether you guys like it, whether you guys don't. We're all ears. This is the first kind of venture that we're doing, but it's just another way that you guys can kind of support the show. We will have 2, maybe 3 picks out tomorrow morning of our early bets for the day. They will be released later. But if you want to get some closing line value or just kind of start your morning off with some hockey bets that you just kind of lock in before the slate starts, be sure to check that out and join. Any sort of additional things to add, Franco, to that?
I mean, I think the big thing is, at least for me, like I don't usually provide write-ups for my plays unless I have time. Like I work a job. I work a normal job. So, if I find a play, like I just want to get it out typically, and I'll just post it, and that's what you're going to get. You can tailor fade it however you want. I don't really, it is what it is. But for these, we're going to at least provide some sort of write-up and reasoning for why. So I'll put some time in, which is perfect because, again, like we have such a short slate tonight. So I'm going to kind of get into. I started breaking down the slate for tomorrow already. I'll see if I can find some value either way, and provide a nice little write up so that way you can have at least a reason why you're grabbing this line at 9 a.m. tomorrow as opposed to waiting or whatever. So.
Yeah, exactly. And as always, our DMs are open. We know a bunch of you guys hop in there and just kind of chat with us. So if you have any questions or kind of want to know more information about that, feel free to hit us up. That'll be starting tomorrow, the new show tomorrow. So I think that covers all of the basis. I miss anything?
No, I think that's good. Yeah,
All right.
the show I'm excited for just because we'll be talking about best bets and again kind of just going into it, and it'll just be another way for you guys to hear our reasoning on stuff for each every night of the week and now at this point. So it'll be good.
Yeah, it'll be certainly a shorter show, but it'll be just kind of direct to the point. Here's our favorite props. Here's our favorite bets of the night. So hopefully you guys enjoy that content. And Franco has found a new tool that he's fallen in love with as well that we will be highlighting in addition to our best bets. So be sure to check that out. We will repost it from the account. And again, thank you guys for all the support so far this season. It's truly been incredible. So as we move towards the playoffs, we're going to try to keep expanding our content and go from there. But yeah, let's get into today's slate. We got Colorado at Toronto to start us off. Colorado minus 130, Toronto plus 110, total set at 5.5, minus 130 to the over. Colorado 8-2 in their last 10 on a 2-game win streak. They are 18, 14, and 1 on the road this season. Toronto 5-5 in their last 10. 21, 13, and 1 at home. These teams did match up earlier this month, on the 8th, with Colorado winning 7-4. Franco, any plays for you in this one?
I mean, I think the first thing you have to look at is the over here. Whether you want to take first period over or full game over, I think it's at least something you should be considering, just given what we saw. These teams just played not that long ago, right? A week or so ago. So, and we saw fireworks. I think it was a 7-4 game. Obviously, there are a few empty netters in there, but I mean, the game was a bonanza overall, and I don't see any reason why we can't expect the same thing here, especially given the history between these two as well. So, I think I lean more towards the first period over, or maybe like first period both teams to score. But I mean, the fact that you're getting over 1.5 at minus 130, which is pretty damn bettable for the first period, feels pretty good. And Dave's highlighting everything in the chat here.
Yeah, shout out the Ice Guys. Another great show too.
Ice Guys, yeah. I mean, it all points to it. So I mean, if we lose, we lose. It's one of those things, if it ends up being a dud of a first period, it is what it is, But I think just given the history between these two, and obviously both teams have enough firepower to sail this game over, regardless of the history. So I think you're seeing a lot of value. I know Toronto games tend to stay under at home. They play more of a shutdown style at home as opposed to the road. But I think just given the price here, it's worth a sprinkle. So what I'll probably do is just go half each. I'll go half on the first period over, half on the full game over, and then maybe even get a little sprinkle on the both teams to score in the first period, just to get a little bit more value.
2-game slate, 7 picks tonight. You knew this was going to happen. You knew that card wasn't just going to be 1 or 2 plays. Yeah. Not on this show, at least. I love that first period over at 1.5. I'm trying to find that on DraftKings. Let's see what that is.
Yeah, minus 130 on DK.
Minus 130 on DK. Yeah, I will definitely be adding that to my card. Yeah, that's a great.
And both teams' score is plus 160 as well. So again, that's a little bit more if you want to gain a little bit more value.
Yep. Love both of those. In terms of shots on goal, I have a few guys that I want to kind of talk about tonight. And a block shot prop. A limited slate. I have time to get deep into every single prop that's offered. So Adam will be excited about that one. I'm sure he'll be on the same one. But in the last 10 games, Toronto has allowed the 8th most shots on goal to forwards, the 10th most to defensemen. So looking at the Colorado side of things, Cale Makar jumps out immediately. He is hit in 7 of his last 10 against overall, 7 of his last 10 overall against Toronto, 4 of his last 5, and has been pretty decent on the road, hitting in each of his last 8 games. You're getting that at minus 145 tonight. So I'm definitely going to be adding Cale Makar at 3+ shots on goal tonight. His point looks great for a parlay piece, minus 205 as well. He's been pretty consistent with that. But there's a few other guys on the Colorado side of things too. Ross Colton, who was our shots on goal darling to start the season, got hurt. now he's been back. He's hitting 4 straight games. And then outside of that, he's hitting 3 of his last 4 against Toronto. And I think he's been fairly decent on the road, if I'm correct. 5 of his last 6 he's hit on the road. And you're getting that at plus money tonight. I don't mind that as well. I think he's at I can't find it.
Plus 100, right, for Colton?
I'm trying to find it.
Did he disappear on DK?
Yeah.
Nah, minus 105 for 2. I'm seeing him.
Yeah, I'm not seeing him for whatever reason. Yeah, I don't mind that. Any props that you're on in this game? Oh, yeah, there he is, minus 105.
So I locked in one. This is going to be like my main play of the day or whatever you want to call it. We'll see if it ends up biting me for calling it that, because that's what tends to happen. I've like tried to steer away from that, but this is the only play I've locked in so far today. So Joseph Woll under 25.5 saves at minus 108 on FanDuel. Everywhere else is minus 120. I think there's a reason for that. Just given, I don't know if it's just when they play different in front of him or what it is, but he's only gone over that in 3 of his last 10 games overall. I know one of those games was a substitution, so right, 3 of his last 9, whatever. Still a pretty good hit rate. Obviously not the best of matchups in those games, but you still got to take it, however you take it. So with that being said, Toronto specifically, overall in the season, they're in the top 10 of shots allowed. So yeah, on the surface, this looks like a bad bet, right? And I had somebody message me saying that, but you have to look a little bit closer, right? So overall in the season, they average 29.1 shots on goal given up per game. So obviously that's bad for 25.5, but look a little bit closer. If you go just to home games, that drops down to 27.6. So you lose almost 2 shots on goal per game there. And then if you go even further, you go to their more recent form, which is their last 5. That drops all the way down to 26.4. So you're dropping almost 3 shots per game allowed in their last 5 home games. So they're tightening up. Tanev's healthy again. Obviously, he missed a few games in there, so that kind of hurt that. I know we're going to probably talk about him because you mentioned block shots, obviously. And then as well, Colorado goes down a whole shot per game on offense when they move to the road. So they average 29.5 shots on goal per game on the season, but they dropped to 28.5 shots on goal per game on the road. So again, we're playing multiple factors here on why there's a little bit of value here. And both teams are actually on the front end of back-to-back. As I was going through my research for tomorrow, I realized that the Leafs are traveling, and obviously Colorado is going to Ottawa tomorrow. So I don't know what that means as far as where their heads are going to be at. These are obviously 2 teams that are outside of conference of each other. So again, if we see a lot of goals, that means we could get goalies pulled. Who knows what happens? So I like the numbers. I feel like there's enough statistical reason to back it and enough value, just given that you're seeing minus 120 everywhere else and getting a minus 108 feels pretty good. So that's why I'm taking it.
Yeah, no, I like that look a lot. On the Toronto side of things for shots on goal, the one guy I did have circled was William Nylander. He's hitting 3 straight. His attempts have been solid. He's one of those players that is extremely streaky. He was at 3.5, I think, earlier this season. He's now back down to that 2.5 shots on goal line. You get that at minus 140 on DK. As I mentioned, he's hitting 3 straight. He's hitting 3 of his last 5 against Colorado and has been much better at home this season. The issue is Colorado is pretty tight against shots on goal again, but at this rate with his attempts, his time on ice increasing as well too. I don't mind Nylander at all at 3. So it's going to be Makar at 3, Colton at 2, Nylander at 3 as well. And then I did bring up that block shots prop, which this could be 5 plays in one game at this rate. Yep. Ryan Lindgren at at 1.5 block shots, minus 110 on DraftKings. So he's hit in 3 of his last 4. Last game he missed against Dallas was only 1. Head-to-head, he's hit in 3 of his last 4 against Toronto as well. And then on the road this season, pulling up his stats now. On the road, he's hit it at 58.6% clip. At home, that number drops to a 56.3. But in his last 10 at home, he's only hit in 3 of his last 10. And then on the road, in his last 10, he's hit in 5 of his last 6. Yep. Yeah, Willie Z is the shooter on that line. So getting him at 2.5, minus 140, I don't mind at all. But yeah, Lindgren as well. Decent number. So probably going to play that too. Have to figure the Leafs are going to come out firing tonight. Their shots have been up a little bit in the last 4 to 29, 23, 25, and 26 compared to before. So I like that as well. Thoughts on Mac plus Austin shots?
I'll have to look at that. Hold on. I mean, Matthews has 3 goals in his last 2 games, right? Yeah. So is he starting to kind of feel it a little bit? You know, he was ice cold coming off the 4 Nations break, right?
Yeah.
And even during the 4 Nations, you would argue, right? So maybe, you know, scoring 1 goal against Ottawa, getting off the schneid, and then getting 2 against Calgary last game. You know, obviously he had that history against Calgary where we were looking to back him, right? But yeah, I mean, I could definitely make an argument for Austin Matthews shots, and I mean, can you ever make an argument against McKinnon?
Yeah, I mean, McKinnon's home and away splits are noticeable. He has only hit in 4 of his last 10, but again, it's one of those guys that you just terrified. Either of them are just taking an under with it because they could just go off for 5, 6, even more shots on goal a game. So I don't hate either of those. The Fanatics boost is corrective. Andrew DM'd us this too. Let me pull it up now. So the Fanatics boost was this: McKinnon, Matthews, Nylander, Cale Makar, 2+ shots on goal each at even money.
Yeah,
we talked about. I'm on Nylander shots on goal today. I'm on Makar.
I don't like having that
goal.
many legs for a plus. Was a plus 100?
Yeah,
that's my only drawback. Just to only get to plus, like, I get it. You're getting even money, and it's guys that should all get there. Yes, I just hate having that many legs for just a plus 100. But
yeah, I mean, dropping McKinnon to 2, he's hitting 10 straight. I don't think he's gone under. So he's gone under 2 shots in 1 of his last 19 games overall. So he should get there.
I mean, it makes sense. I get it. I get that. I just hate having that many legs because all it takes is one stupid thing, you know. Oh, this guy went to the locker room because he took a puck to the shin, or you know how it is. I mean, that's what happened with Buchnevich last night. I had him for a point. The Blues score 4 goals and he doesn't get recorded point. It's just, you know, shit happens in this league, you know. So guys have games off where they're just not on. So I try to limit legs if I'm only getting a plus 100. Let's put it that way. Yeah. Now, if we're going,
but I mean, with the boost, I get it. Even
Yeah.
money for the boost, I get it. I would certainly probably play that as well. So, all right. Any other looks in this one?
I will say that I love that Lindgren. I wasn't even considering him, but just given Josh Manson left, I believe, during the Calgary game, and they just got news that he's out 3 to 4 weeks. So obviously he missed against Dallas, Lindgren, but seeing him at 1.5, he's going to have to play more minutes. Toronto's at home, so they should be able to prioritize targeting Lindgren. I would assume they would want to target Lindgren as opposed to, I mean, I don't know. I guess you could talk, not that Makar's the best defensive defenseman, but whatever. I don't know. They're going to put their best forward group against the weaker D pairs. So I think we could see a lot of shot attempts for the Leafs, and obviously Lindgren's going to just have to be out there trying to block them. So I think that's pretty good value there. I might grab that one as well.
Yeah, so I have 4 here. So Nylander at 3, minus 140. Makar at 3, minus 145. Colton at 2, minus 105, and then Lindgren 2+ block shots minus 110. So there it is, 4 plays in one game. Gotta love it.
Not bad.
Nope.
I might consider McMahon under again. I grabbed him last game and he went over, but I had him the previous one, he went under. So he's been better at home, but just overall his shot volume is just not good recently. I mean, you look at it, it's 2.2 shot attempts per game he's averaging. You know, obviously he has had some spike games in there, but he's just not shooting much. He's not getting as much ice time as he was earlier in the season. So I think there's still value there if you don't mind taking it under.
Yeah. Let me just double check these lines on the blue book as well. So yeah, Colton, you can get even money on FanDuel. In terms of Makar, he's minus 140 on FanDuel, so that's a better line as well. And then Nylander 3+, minus 144. So no, stick with the minus 140 on DK for Nylander.
Yeah, I didn't see that. So there you go. His third shot was a backhand from 75 feet away. So again, like I don't know. I think the variance overall you're going to hit when a guy's not shooting, like, you know, when we're targeting overs in general, we want to see that volume, right? We want to see 7-8 shot attempts on a 3.5 guy. We want to see at least 4 or 5 attempts per game on a 2.5 guy. So if this guy's sitting at 1.5 and he's not even averaging more than 2 shots, you know, barely 2 shots a game attempts, then I think long term, if you're betting that under, you're going to be profitable.
Yeah. All right, next game and last game of the night, Seattle at Minnesota. Seattle plus 136, Minnesota minus 162. Total set at 5.5. Split both ways at minus 110. Seattle 5-5 in the last 10, but 3-1 in the last 4. 14, 19, and 0 on the road this season. Minnesota 4-6 in their last 10. 16, 15, and 2 at home. These teams matched up earlier this month on the 4th, with Minnesota beating Seattle 4-3. In terms of shots on goal, I'd say look more towards the Seattle Kraken side with defensemen. Minnesota has allowed the 5th most shots on goal to D-men in the last 10. So that brings up one obvious name, at least, Brandon Montour and Vince Dunn.
Yep.
Vince Dunn was at that 1.5 line for a while, kept hitting, now is bumped up to that 2.5 line and at plus money tonight. So let me pull up their stats, but those are 2 I'm considering. In the meantime, Franco, do you have any plays in Seattle, Minnesota?
Let me see if I had an idea for a parlay here for this. But so first of all, I'll say this. Kraken are 0-10 on the second half of the back-to-back this season, which is just brutal, obviously. So I don't think there's any argument to be made for trying to take the Kraken. Now, obviously, I'm not trying to lay minus 166 with Minnesota either. That's a terrible number for a team that hasn't been very good overall, but they are still clinging to that playoff spot, whereas Seattle really doesn't have anything to play for at this point, except for winning games, so that way they can move further above the Flyers in the standings so the Flyers can get a better pick. That is clearly what they're trying to do. So if they want to win tonight, that's fine. I'll take that. But with that being said, let's see if we can make this parlay happen here. So what I want to do, I think in general, the Kraken have not been scoring a ton of goals on these back-to-backs. Minnesota in general has not been scoring a lot of goals in overall. So what I want to do is grab the Wild money line and an under 6.5. And that's going to give me plus 150, which I think is a hell of a way to get some value on the Wild money line, which is minus 166. And give me a little bit of safety. So that way, if this game draws and goes to overtime, I at least have that in my back pocket. So I like that at plus 150. I think that's pretty good value. If you want to get even stupider with it, Minnesota Wild plus 1.5 and under 6.5 goals is minus 110. So that even saves you from the overtime loss if the Wild lose in overtime. So a couple ways to attack it here to get the Wild on the side and just stay on the under here, because I don't see a lot of goals here. I get that the Wild scored a ton of goals last night against the Blackhawks, but that's the Blackhawks. So let's not get carried away.
Yeah, Dave brings up a good point. We've seen this happen on Fridays too, just
Yeah.
weird results. And yeah, you try to overanalyze these games a little bit too much and it ends up just biting you in the ass. Montour has struggled with his 3+ on the road, which is some concern here. Dunn has missed in his last three, but has been better on the road. So not sure if I love those, but it seems like there's so many props for the Seattle side. Exotic Wagers brought up Beniers at 1.5. There's uh, Tolvanen at 2. There's Eberle at 2. Jaden Schwartz at 3. There's so many shots on goal props for this Seattle side. And specifically, one who I took last night, which is one of my 2 winners out of the 6 picks I gave out, was Jaden Schwartz at that 3+. You're still getting plus money for it. He has struggled against Minnesota in the past, but it's just so tempting given his recent numbers. It feels like him or McMahon hits like every other night, and he's been fantastic on the road. Schwartz especially has been hitting in 8 of his last 10. I'm not sure his back-to-back numbers, so that is giving me some sort of pause with that, but those 2 just seem like some great value.
All right, back to back overall. He's hitting. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of his last 8 overall at 2. 4 of his last 8 overall at 3. So if you're taking Schwartz 3, yeah.
How about Montour or Dunn
on back to backs?
Yeah,
hold on, let's see.
Because Montour's home and away splits are very, very terrifying. But his attempts have been there 7, 5, 7, 6, 8. He's missing, but he's still shooting the puck a ton.
All right, Montour on 0 days rest. We're looking at, 4 out of 8. 4 out of his last 8 and overall. Then so not good. Done. Yeah, it's slow going here. Come on, let's go. All right, there we go. Done. Yeah, I mean, he's had some big hits actually, like 4 or 5. No 3s in there at all. It's all 4 or more, which is odd. But 5 out of 10. But I mean, if you're looking closer, it's not as good. So I don't know, man. It's definitely a tricky spot, I think, for all those guys. I think you just gotta, if you're feeling good about one of them, you take them. But I think Schwartz is probably the one I would, if the ones you mentioned, I think that's the one I like the best.
Yeah. I mean, Tolvanen 2 at that 2 mark. It's pretty tempting. I'm trying to pull up his home and away splits now. 51.5% on the road this season, 58 at home. Yeah, and I mean, Dave brought up a good point. Like Hartman, his shots, he's hitting 4 of his last 5 overall and 4 of his last 5 at home too. Boldy's another great look tonight. A little bit juiced, but he's had some pretty great history against Seattle. Your boy last night, Esamont. You going back to him tonight? I think you're muted.
Oh, hold on. There we go.
There we go.
My bad. I was frustrated because I looked on DraftKings earlier and he wasn't available, but he is on FanDuel right now at -130 for over 1.5. I think you have to go back to it. I get it. He's not getting a ton of minutes. He's playing on the 4th line. Last night he had a spike in minutes with like 3 more minutes than he's really been averaging. I think that's because it was a blowout. So I don't want to take too much into that. But the attempts are decent overall since he's come over. And he's now hit in 5 of 7 since coming over from Tampa Bay. He was not getting any kind of run in Tampa. So I think I like the value here at -130. Is not too bad just for 2 shots. He had 5 last night on 7 attempts. So again, I think that's a little inflated. I'm not going to get like too crazy about laddering him or anything. Just give me the 2. The other one I'm going to go Oppo here is Marco Rossi under again. I took him last game. He's just not shooting. Again, same as McMahon, where you're getting at home, his shot attempts per game is 2.3. He's averaging. It's just it's just not enough, man. I mean, he's the facilitator, and he's just not hitting his 2 shots on goal. So you're getting that's a little bit more juiced at minus 130. So maybe what I'll do is I'll split a full unit between them, like a half unit each for their respective straight lines, and then I'll do like a quarter on them parlayed together or something like that.
Yeah, I don't hate that. Hartman, you're right, tempting. So Seattle's allowed the 13th most shots on goal to forwards in the last 10. Hartman at 2 is a parlay piece. At this rate, you're getting Hartman at 3 at plus 120. He's covered that line in 3 straight. His shot attempts have been up. He's hitting 4 of his last 5. He's got some decent history against Seattle. He hit earlier this month 4 shots on goal on 6 attempts. And then earlier this season in October, he had 6 shots on goal on 8 attempts, and he's hit in 4 of his last 5 at home. So maybe that will be where I go in the late game.
I think in general you go light tonight.
Yeah, this is a weird game. I mean, there's too many props I like in this, but it's going to be, I feel like, very dependent on that 7 o'clock game with 4 plays already going out.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you could also. I mean, if you like, for example, Schwartz at 2. Like, I don't mind taking him with somebody else.
Hartman at 2.
Yeah, that might not be a bad look.
Yeah.
So I think there's some pieces you can get fun, and like Dave said, he's got like 3 players under, Marco Rossi, McMahon, and Mo Riley under 1.5. Yeah, I mean, I don't mind doing stuff like that on a slate like this. Considering how small it is, yeah, you can kind of get creative, try to find some value.
Do you want to put together a parlay for tonight, or do you want to hold off?
I think we have enough legs, it feels like. Do you agree?
I would agree.
To make one?
I would certainly agree that we have enough legs tonight. All right. Do you have a play that you like in this one or the other slate? I mean, we can just do this. There's a same game boost on Avalanche Toronto. Trying to look up.
We could do that. We could just make it all that game. That seems like the probably smarter idea, I feel like.
Yeah. 3-leg same game parlay.
I can't do my under though. That sucks. Or does it let you? Does it let you do an? It doesn't let you same game parlay and under, right? Like I can't do McMahon under 1.5.
Let me sign in here and opt in. Let me go through this 1 second.
Because I do feel like that's you know how it goes.
I feel like that's what the props are. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. NHL. So many college basketball boosts.
Of course.
50% boost on a 3+ leg same game parlay in Colorado, Toronto.
Yeah.
All right, let's build this. Where do you want to start? Can we do the periods? First period over?
Yeah, we could do that.
First period over, minus 130.
I like that.
Yep. Shots on goal. Cal at 3, or did you want to do Nylander at 3?
Hold on, let me look at them again. Cal had the really good road splits, right?
Yes.
I mean, I like them both. I feel like Nylander's going to get some advantageous matchups. I still don't buy this Colorado blue line, just in general. You decide. You decide. Because
Lindgren blocks.
No, I was going to say I think we should do Lindgren blocks.
All right,
as the other piece,
and then it's Cal or Nylander for shots. Yeah. I'm fine with Cal.
All right, let's do that.
All right. Colorado, Toronto. Bonus available. Select. Yeah, so Toronto, Colorado, first period over 1.5. Ryan Lindgren over 1.5 block shots. Cale Makar 3+ shots on goal. The 50% boost on DraftKings that they're offering today gets you to plus 743.
I like it.
I do too.
Not bad. Not bad for a 3-legger.
No, I'm putting that in now. Bet unavailable. Why?
I don't know. I just bet it. Let me go. Let me go. Gator getting limited.
All right, I got it in. 50% boost. There it is.
Yep.
All right, let me tweet this out now for our official parlay of the night. Yeah.
Andrew says he can't. Well, same game parlay blocks. It might be based on where you are. I mean, do you just say take Nylander over then, if that's the case?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. It worked for him. Never mind.
No,
that's good.
Perfect.
If you cannot do blocks for whatever reason, wherever you are, I think we're pretty happy with Nylander shots as well. So that can be your alternative.
Yeah. All right. I will tweet this out now, but you are going to have to entertain the people, and we can start that off with the games for tomorrow. Calgary, New Jersey. What do you got in this one?
All right. We're going to speed through these, right? Hopefully.
All right.
Wait, hold on. Where's my list? There it is. I think New Jersey being minus 180 is ridiculous. I get it. Calgary on the road has been pretty terrible, but they are still fighting for that playoff spot. I think I'm off that game in general, just given the value there. I think you can look at Luke Hughes' point again. I think that's probably worth a look. I'll just run through them while you're doing that. So Florida at Columbus. When is the dam going to break for Columbus? They had about 1 billion shots, it felt like, in that third period against the Devils that last game. Jake Allen stood on his head. What year is it? So I don't know how that happened or why that happened, but what I'm probably going to do in that game is I'm going to look at Columbus shot props. Marchenko, I think, had like 4 or 5. Voronkov had 3. It seemed like everybody had a ton of shots in that game. So I think that's where you look for value. Figure out the guy you like the best, ladder him up, however you want to do it. But I think there should be some value. I think they broke the shutout streak. They did get a goal. So maybe they're going to build a little bit of confidence. But yeah, I mean, at this point, I don't want to take Florida at minus 192. Columbus at home, it has been good overall this season, but obviously not recently. They're in that slide right now, so I don't really want to take a side either way. So maybe you go over as well as a slight lean, just if the dam does break for them. We can see goals back and forth there. Let me know when you want me to stop, but I'll keep I'll keep going. Toronto is on the back-to-back. Oh, you ready? You good?
We're good. I just tweeted out. So for everyone who's looking for the full thing, it's the first period over 1.5. Ryan Lindgren over 1.5 block shots. Cale Makar 3+ shots on goal. So that is our parlay of the night. Awesome. Be sure to use that same game parlay boost from DraftKings. So there we go. Boom. All right. Perfect. All right. I think that should be it. I'll tweet out my picks in a second. But yeah, going through, what game did you end on?
I was just about to go Toronto, New York. So if you want to add anything to Calgary, New Jersey, or Florida and CBJ.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Florida shots on goal props. Columbus allowing the most shots on goal to forwards in the last 10. So you're going to look there. Bennett, Rodriguez has been a little iffy now that he got bumped up to that 2.5 line. Reinhardt's there. Forsling has kind of been hit or miss too, but I would mainly look at the Florida forwards in that one. Calgary, New Jersey. New Jersey forwards and defensemen. Calgary, 9th most shots on goal to forwards in the last 10, 7th most to defensemen. And then even on Calgary's defenseman, Rasmus Anderson, over 1.5 shots on goal. I was on that the other night. That hit. New Jersey's allowing the 4th most shots on goal to defensemen in their last 10. So those are kind of going to be the early looks for that. Yeah, exactly. Shots on goal for Florida tomorrow, and then that Rasmus Anderson in the first game, depending on what his odds are, all over that. Now we'll go to Toronto, New York. So what do you have in this one?
So obviously Toronto's on the back-to-back, so we'll see probably Stolarz. Rangers, man, what a brutal game that was. I think it's 7 shots on goal through 2 periods against Calgary the other day, so I was a little bit disappointed considering I had Fox assist there. So I don't know. Toronto's really, I mean, I guess I want to see how Toronto plays tonight and what the end result ends up being. But I mean, it's not that far of a travel spot from Toronto to New York. I think give me Toronto at plus 102. The Rangers, I mean, are they really going to turn around that dead performance and come out and play this game, a day later? I get it. Maybe the Garden's going to be jumping, but I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I was looking at the Eastern Conference wildcard race the other day, and who's creeping up is the Islanders.
Yeah.
And what would be a more perfect fitting than instead of us getting Montreal, like a fun young team, Columbus, like the story behind them, like making the playoffs after all that's happened.
We get the Isles.
And we're going to get the Islanders in the first round. I know it's going to happen. I might as well just bet them now, just of the way we can't have nice things in the NHL. I know that's what's going to happen is we're going to end up with the Islanders in the first round. So it's going to happen. Yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah, that's terrible. I don't even want to wish that on any of our eyes, unfortunately.
No.
So hopefully not.
All right.
Do you have anything to add to the Rangers game, though, or not really? No interest.
What do I got? The Rangers game? No. I can't figure this team out. But like you said, at Toronto plus money, even despite their
I think you just take it.
Not great. I think you take Toronto tomorrow too. Not necessarily. They're at home tonight. Short flight. Going to be maybe 1.5, 2-hour flight. So yeah, I like Toronto, especially getting them at plus money. Philly, Washington. What do we do here, Franco?
I mean, there's no value, obviously.
No.
I actually put Washington right at the minus 250 is what I capped them at. So I'm right on. Maybe you lean under because Philly can't score, but I guess at some point, like they will score and perform in a game. It will happen because that's what the Flyers do. Yeah, Andrew's got the right idea. Ovi last goal is probably worth a look. There will be a point in these last 20-ish games where the Flyers go on like a 4 or 5 game win streak and like work themselves out of that top 5 pick. Like I can guarantee it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, ripping my hair out. So just be ready for that. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be super excited about backing Washington minus 250. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I don't know. Garnet Hathaway revenge game.
We're really getting deep in for that. You get deep in your bag for that one.
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, in terms of Philly, Washington, shots on goal. Anything that really jumps out?
Not really, right? I mean, neither's like a great shots on goal target, are they?
Philly, 9th most to defensemen.
Okay, so Chikrin maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's where you'd have to look, if anything.
Okay.
All right. Colorado, Ottawa minus 110, Colorado minus 110, so split both ways. Again, I get Colorado's on a back-to-back, but it's hard not to back them at that number against this Ottawa team. I get Ottawa's kind of heating up. What have they? They're 7-3 in their last 10. They went on that 6-game winning streak, just coming off a loss to Montreal. Maybe it's a get right spot, but I don't know. There's no conviction in me for either side on this money line.
That was such an epic choke job by by they. I think they had a 2-1 and a 3-2 lead in that game, and then they ended up losing 6-3. They gave up 4 or 5 goals in the third period. I mean, I don't even know how you do that in like the modern NHL. You give up 5 goals in one period. I get a couple of them were empty netters, but that was pretty horrendous overall. So yeah, I don't know. I think again, like, yeah, maybe if Colorado loses tonight, then it's like a smash Colorado spot. I think that's probably the way to look at it.
Well, unfortunately, again, it's a smash Cale Makar, Devon Taves spot because Ottawa's allowed the most shots on goal to defensemen in the last 10. So if they don't hit tonight, going right back to them tomorrow,
yeah,
especially in this spot,
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of how you have to look at it. Any other bets in this one?
No, I mean, maybe like a Pinto shots. I feel like he's been shooting a good amount. That'll be a guy to look at.
Yeah.
Maybe Brady shots as well. I think Brady at home has been pretty good. So I don't know.
Brady leads the league in shots on goal in the last 10.
Yeah. So I don't think that's a bad angle either.
No. Vancouver at St. Louis, another game I want nothing to do with. St. Louis minus 135, Vancouver plus 114.
Blues money line. I would be
really
I would dabble in at minus 135. I know it's a little like on the edge there, but yeah, I like the Blues. I like the way they've been playing. I feel like they are right in it. I could see this team being one of the all right, like who you guys were kind of talking about this, right? Like,
I talked about this the other day. Right? I said the Blues had the easiest strength of schedule coming in to end the season here. They were plus 400, so 4-1 to make the playoffs. And I'm pretty sure those odds have shifted now.
Yeah, I wish I bet that night. I mean, they look good. And I don't believe in Minnesota.
Yeah, they're now plus 142 to make the playoffs. So
yeah, I think they should take this game. Minus 135 feels like a good enough price for me, so I'll grab them. Slightly into the over. I wish they would give me back Hronik shots so that way I can bet as under, but they'll never do that again.
I like that St. Louis money line. All right, I'm convinced. I already have the ticket on him at 4-1, so might as well just really go all in at this point.
Yeah, just keep hitting them. Yep.
Montreal at New York Islanders. Islanders minus 135. New York plus 114. Total set at 5.5. Minus 115 to the over. Montreal has given up the 6th most shots on goal to defensemen in the last 10. So look at Noah Dobson tomorrow at home. I think he's been much better. I think he's starting to pick it up as well. So Noah Dobson shots on goal tomorrow.
Isles money line. Regrettably. I was joking with my buddy and we were like saying how there's no reason the Isles should be favored heavily in this game, right? Just given Montreal had a great win against the Sens the other day. And that was at home, obviously, but so why should the Islanders be anything more than like a minus 110 or whatever? And we both just said because they're going to win this game. That's just how it's going to be. And kind of like you said, they're going to be that team that like they're right in this playoff race somehow, some way. I don't know how they are, but here we are. They're going to win this game. I don't love it, but so
Islanders have given up the 7th most shots on goal to forwards. So maybe look at Caulfield. Suzuki at that 1.5 is a nice parlay piece that's been hitting for a while. Slavkovsky is another good look that's been pretty hot as of late. So that's kind of where I'd lean to tomorrow in terms of shots.
Yeah.
Tampa Bay at Dallas. Dallas minus 135. Tampa Bay plus 114. Total set at 5.5. Minus 130 to the over. Dallas has been pretty leaky to shots. 4th most to forwards, 11th most to defensemen in their last 10. That being said, I kind of like Dallas money line tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I wish it was a little lower, but I more prefer the over here. I'll probably do both first period over and full game over. Both these teams have enough firepower to get there. It seems like both have been giving up a ton of goals. So, yeah, I think the 5.5, you're going to see a 6.5 by tomorrow. Maybe that'll be one of my plays for the tail sling tomorrow. If anybody's still listening.
Yeah, 1 second.
I think that's going to move. I think I'm going to shop it, but we'll see.
I know it's moved to 6 already on some books too.
Okay, there you go. So lock it in now.
Anaheim at Nashville. Nashville minus 175. Anaheim plus 145. Total set at 5.5. What do you do here? Nashville's lost 3 straight. Anaheim has lost 2 straight, 4 of their last 5. Do you trust Nashville at this price?
Absolutely not. No way. I do like the over though. Give me that over 5.5, easy.
That one's already started to move too.
I think so. It's the same idea as what we saw with Chicago and the Kraken yesterday, right? 2 teams that are dead, essentially, just playing an open. These are like the fun games at the end of the season. To be honest with you, like when there's just nothing on the line at all.
Yep.
It's just gonna be garbage fest. So give me that over 5.5.
Nashville should be a great shots on goal spot tomorrow too. Anaheim 5th most to forwards, 2nd most to defensemen. Probably going to look at Marchessault tomorrow. He's been great at home this season, so that's going to be probably my main target in that one. Speaking of shots on goal,
been decent. I think O'Reilly's been decent too as a 1.5 guy.
Yeah. LA at Chicago. Chicago plus 215. LA minus 265. Kevin Fiala, Adrian Kempe. Shots on goal tomorrow.
Okay.
Take it right off into the sunset.
Yeah. Otherwise, there's nothing here. I mean, unless you're going to take Chicago props, but I don't. Obviously, there's value on Donato, but
his points been great. Yep. But
But I mean, it's LA. LA is just tough.
Buffalo at Utah. Yuck. Yuck. I wish Betsky was here to offer some insight, but Dylan Gunther shots.
Yeah, I was going to say
Dylan Gunther shots. There it is. There's your
Yep.
There's your mega max tomorrow. Is Dylan Gunther shots against this terrible Sabres team. I really have nothing else besides that in this one. I would lean Utah, but I don't know. This is another one of those stupid games where the Sabres have no reason to win this. I
hope they win.
It's going to happen because Utah is fighting for a wild card spot, and this is a game that the Sabres just don't need to win, and they're going to do it.
Yep.
They've won 2 straight. Yep. Again, Sabres and Flyers are going to get hot at the end of the year, and they're just going to.
It happens every year.
Yep. So every year. Every year. Yep. Nope. Exactly. So, all right. Winnipeg at Edmonton. Edmonton minus 122. Winnipeg plus 102. Any thoughts on this one? Winnipeg is coming off a terrible loss to Vancouver, 6-2. Edmonton's coming off a 7-1 win against Utah. They've won 3 straight.
Is Edmonton turning on to the postseason form?
No. This is what it is. I decided this the other day because Edmonton matched up against Dallas. Edmonton was favored again, I think around minus 120 range in this category. And this is when Dallas got ran in. So everyone's like, oh, like Dallas at plus money tonight should be a hammer spot. Nope. You take Edmonton at home. They win these games late in the regular season. And then when the times come for the playoffs, that's when they kind of start to fall apart. But this is a weird game. I don't know. I would lean Edmonton here, but Winnipeg coming off that brutal loss is certainly scary.
Yeah, it feels like the time to hop off Edmonton, given that they've won a couple in a row now. Maybe this is a get right spot for Winnipeg. I don't love it either way. I mean, Edmonton is getting healthy. They got Hyman back and Ekholm back that last game. And that's, Ekholm's probably bigger than Hyman at this point as far as like what he provides to this team. So obviously Hyman had 2 goals, so I don't want to understate him, but I don't know.
with 14 games tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be a good game. It's going to be a good hockey game. I just don't think there's an argument to be made either way, and it's not worth trying to pick out which one's going to win.
Boston at Vegas. Vegas minus 258. Boston plus 210. Total set at 5.5 minus 120. Boston has lost 3 straight and just seemed to be in an absolute free fall. Vegas has lost 2 straight. This seems like a over and a half. Get right spot for Vegas, where Vegas puts up at least 4. Maybe, I mean, Vegas hasn't been fantastic defensively either, but yeah, I like the over at 5.5 in this one.
I could make an argument there. I don't really want to do much of anything else here. I feel like maybe some point props on the Vegas side.
Yeah. In terms of shots on goal, I got nothing in this one. Pastrnak has been pretty much Boston's main shooter and only shooter.
He's been shooting a ton. What about low rye? Like, do you go back to low rye here? I don't know where Vegas ranks.
Vegas is middle of the pack, 17th in the last 10 for defensemen.
Maybe go back there.
Yeah. Any other props that pop in this one? I'm trying to go down the list. No.
I feel like Gigi's been good, but I don't really want to be betting Boston props.
No. Carolina at San Jose to close out the night. San Jose plus 260. Carolina minus 325. 5.5 is the total. Minus 142 to the over. Any props in this one?
Brett Burns' revenge. He's not vengeful against them. I know that. I just had to say it. I don't know. No, I'm good.
Yeah. I know San Jose is leaky to forwards, but in terms of shots on goal as of late, maybe look at Aho, Jarvis.
Maybe like power play point props for Carolina or something, but I don't think you're going to get value. I don't think there's going to be much value at all unless you're taking San Jose props.
Taylor Hall point. Taylor Hall shots on goal at that 2 mark. He's been pretty good lately.
Okay.
As weird as that sounds, but yeah. It's like us backing Eberle and a few of those older guys too from that Edmonton squad. Yeah, exactly. All right. Anything else to add?
No. NHL's been a little bit brutal for me personally the last couple of days. So hopefully tonight is a positive night, and hopefully tomorrow is a positive night. So I think it's time to reduce the volume a little bit, just going into the playoffs, just with a lot of unpredictability. So we'll see what happens.
Be sure to be on the lookout tomorrow for our first show as well. We're going to start that tomorrow. So that'll be posted around, gonna guess, maybe 5 o'clock Eastern time. So be on the lookout for that. And then as well, our first plays on tails will be released tomorrow. You can use code PUCKS for 50% off. Those will be released early in the morning. There's going to be a lot of line movement. We'll have complete write-ups on both those plays as well. So be sure to check out that too. I think we covered everything today.
Yeah, I think we did pretty good considering this was a 2-game slate that we spent a half hour on, and then we went through a 14-game slate in like a half hour. So
yeah, exactly. No show on Friday. We will be out. Enjoy March Madness. If you have any plays that you really like, be sure to tweet us them so we can tell your March Madness bets for tomorrow. We appreciate everyone for listening, and we will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.